TV worth paying for.
Rita Lashway of the United Cerebral Palsy Association of Western New York and biophysicist Elliot Davis are working together on a highly unique computerized speech recognition system. Davis is a research associate with the university's Healthcare Instruments and Devices Institute. His system could radically improve the quality of life for people like Jennifer. She's 11 years old, has cerebral palsy, and is a spastic quadriplegic. Davis's achievement has been accomplished on a shoestring budget.
I'm using a $100 computer and my mother-in-law's radio, etc., an $8 microphone.
The system can, for the first time, put the Jennifers of the world in command of common things around them through words or sounds.
Watch this. I'm going to say radio and it's going to go on, okay? Radio.
Wow.
You hear that? Now I'm going to turn it off. Radio. TV. Lights. Bingo. Wow. Would you like to do that?
Yes.
Okay. The essence of this system is that it can recognize inconsistent speech. Inconsistent speech is when you utter a sound with a great variety of ways. For instance, if you say hello, 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 hello. People who are dysarthric, people who have speech impairments, characteristically say things very inconsistently. So it is necessary to be able to recognize the great variety in the pronunciation of a word. So the trick is to get the recognition narrow enough so that it will recognize what you want it to, but broad enough so that it allows people who speak inconsistently to be able to utilize the system. Now first we're going to do TV, okay? And, all right, but you're not going to turn anything on or off. We're just going to train the machine, okay? Now, when I say something, you repeat it. Ready? Say TV. TV, TV. Again.
TV.
Need higher again. Say TV.
TV.
Good. Say it again.
TV.
Let's see if it works, okay? Say TV.
TV.
Wow.
Wow, wait.
Say TV again.
TV.
Turn it off.
You notice when she's saying other things, nothing happens. She goes, Ide, Ide, Ide. If every time she said Ide, Ide, which she uses to precede just about any word that she says, if that got it to turn on and off, then you would have things turning on and off when you didn't want them. So when she says Ide or anything else, nothing should happen. When she says lights, radio, or TV, it should go on and off. Let's see if it works that way. I still might have to modify it a little bit. Say lights.
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 Good. Okay. Now, the object of this was this. When you say, Ide, 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 I don't want anything to happen. Because if you say Ide radio or Ide lights, every time you say Ide, something will go on and off. I just want you, and you were learning, when you say, you should just say lights, all right? Not Ide lights, but lights. Right, radio. Exactly, you got it perfectly. So we got it to work.
What is the potential that you see in it?
The Cerebral Palsy Association of Western New York is always interested in using technology to enhance the abilities of the disabled population. We see Elliot's system in particular as one way to accomplish that. There are many ways in which his system can accomplish this particular thing. One would be with utilizing the device in educational backgrounds. Another would be in utilizing the device in an environmental control background, in a residence, and certainly in the workplace.
Does it represent independence versus dependence?
Absolutely. And that's always what we're trying to accomplish.
What other applications could it have to make life better for the disabled?
Okay. What we have here is speech or sound as a means to control the computer. It's very similar to pushing keys on the computer. In fact, it's virtually completely analogous. So anything that the computer can control by keyboard or anything else can now be controlled by sound. So it's up to your imagination. It can control your doors, open and close the doors. It could turn the coffee pot on. It could conceivably drive your car, drive an airplane.
Ed is also a client of the United Cerebral Palsy Association and is in a pre-vocational program. He's able to control light, television, and radio by using sounds or words. The system can even be tuned to respond to distinctive breath sounds.
Now say dimmer. Say it again. Watch. Okay. Now say lights to turn it off. No, not lights. Ooh. Okay, good. Remember, you told me that you would like to use this to control an artificial arm. Okay? It can be done. We just have to do the engineering to interface it. But the critical thing is the speech recognition. Once you can get the speech, anything that the computer can control by the keyboard, you should be able to control by speech. And obviously, you can control an artificial arm, you know, mechanical arm, rather, by the keyboard. So it's a question of getting the money and doing the engineering. What is necessary is that further funding should be available, that we could make it into a discrete, portable package that is much more streamlined. Unfortunately, none of the classic funding sources, such as the various governmental agencies, etc., have come up with any money. So here we are. The system is almost ready to use. It needs just some funding to get it into its final stages. And there's no way of getting it to the people who need it. The most satisfaction is when somebody who is completely paralyzed, or virtually so, and speaks very, very poorly, or not at all, is able for the first time in their lives to actually control something. They usually start smiling, and after a while you can't stop them. They keep turning things on and off and whatnot. And it's also funny that since the system, for these purposes, is trained to their particular voices, it won't work, by and large, with anyone else. So now they are in control, but normal people aren't, and they love it. And I get such a wonderful feeling out of seeing the good feeling that they have. You like turning on and off the lights?
Yeah.
Want to do it again?
Yeah.
Okay, lights.
And lights.
To the low river plain.
Elliot Davis was working with the United Cerebral Palsy Association of Western New York and CP clients to develop a prototype computerized speech recognition system. Using very inexpensive components, he designed a system that will recognize inconsistent speech, even breath sounds, placing a person who is disabled in command of common things around them.
Say TV.
TV.
Wow.
Wow. Wait.
Say lights.
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 Anything that can be controlled by a computer keyboard can be controlled by the client's voice, and only that voice, without error. The command words or sounds are stored in the computer, and it must respond to a wide range of pronunciations.
Now say dimmer. Say it again. Watch. Okay. Now say lights to turn it off. No, not lights. Ooh. Okay, good.
Ed lives in a Cerebral Palsy Association group home in downtown Buffalo. It was here a year ago that Davis's speech recognition system was put into a real-world situation for testing. Would it stand up to daily use and put Ed in control of his radio and TV set, unaided by anyone else?
Have you been using it on a regular basis?
Yes. Every day.
Really? Oh, that's wonderful. You're able to watch the channels that you like and everything, and you can control it? Oh, that's great. So do you like being able to work things and not have other people get in your way and being able to choose what you like? It's gone considerably beyond my expectations. Remember, this was built as a prototype with many, many different modules connected to each other by wires, plugs, connections, what have you, all of which could pop out, get jolted. We used equipment that was, by and large, off the shelf and was not originally intended for either such hard use or the type of use that it was made. We adapted it. And I felt that as the months went by and his emotions and his own physical condition varied, his voice would vary also, vary to such an extent that the original templates in the computer, which contained a record of the sounds that he made and therefore could control, would not be applicable to the new sounds that he would be making. In short, our voices changed with our emotion, and his voice changed both with emotion and physical condition. Cerebral palsy makes it so that the throat fills up with fluid, you get sick and whatnot, all kinds of muscle contractions. So I felt that there was a fairly good possibility that with time the machine would no longer recognize him.
Davis sees his system as highly useful in hospitals or nursing homes for patients to call for assistance when physical disability prevents movement, or to put the patient in control of their room environment without help. In the home, this technology can help the disabled, whether the cause is cerebral palsy, arthritis, or spinal cord injury. Other systems won't work in a noisy environment and require the microphone to be very close to the user. Ed can be anywhere in his room and still control the system, no matter how much external noise there is.
You can make machines that will recognize the word hello no matter who says it, as long as they say it fairly normally. But people who are not able to speak at all, who can just make sounds or pronounce words in a less than standard fashion, obviously cannot control these things. So these things have to be made trainable to their specific needs. The single most unique feature about this system is that it is able to recognize a very large variety in the pronunciation of a given sound without making errors. Okay? If my command is TV, all right, most systems would tend to make mistakes when you say such a word as me, Lee, he, see. We want to keep that to a minimum, and this does this.
What do you think, in a mass production situation, it could be sold for to people who need it?
That's a difficult question to ask me, because basically I'm a scientist, and if I gave a figure, I'm sure it would be too low for the businessmen who would eventually sell it. All right? My guess, depending on how large the market is and exactly what function it was used for, whether the simpler or the more complex, would be anywhere selling price from $50 to $500. The real market for voice activation equipment is number one, above all, for those who are paralyzed or recuperating from an operation or something like that and have no other choice, really, or where it makes it vastly easier for them to do something. Control their environment or what have you.
God. Babe. Ay, ay.